Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Brown from Brown's Custom Creations, where I create custom designs with you in mind. Normally I'm making a wreath and displaying it here on YouTube, but today I wanted to take the time out to show you how to make foam lollipops. So you may have seen little lollipop wreath attachments like this that people are putting into their deco mesh wreaths. As little embellishments like this one here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make your very own out of foam sheets. So I've already started the process, but let me show you the things that you will need. So first of all, you will need some foam sheets, and you can get these foam sheets at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Any craft store will probably have these. These are Playside Creations, that's the maker, and they were $5.99. And I got these at Hobby Lobby when they were percentage off. And the size is a 12 by 18 inch. That comes in multicolor, and they have two different packs with two different color combinations. Okay, so you'll need that. Also, you will need a rotary cutter, a mat to cut your foam. I also have some felt to put on the back, so whatever color is going to match your foam lollipop. Also, I have a glue gun, because we will do a little gluing, and some tape, and I have this long ruler. And you can purchase this, one like this, at Hobby Lobby or Walmart as well. Okay, and we have little dowels, so you can make it into a lollipop if you want to make it into an actual lollipop with a stick. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pan down so you can see what I'm going to do. I have a lot of this already cut because the gluing of the pieces take a little long, a little bit of a long time, so I didn't want to make this video any longer. But before I pan down, I do want to ask you, if you will, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, and if you'll ring that bell notification, you will get notified when I upload videos. And thank you in advance for doing that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pan down so you can see what I'm doing. So what I have here is I have the foam sheet, and I've already taped the end. So let me show you what I did on a fresh sheet. So here is the foam sheet, just like it comes out of the package. And what I did is I took my tape, and on the short side of the foam pieces, I just want to place my tape here halfway onto the foam piece. And if it's not exactly straight, that's okay. And then what you're going to do is just do this in half. Try to get it as close to even as possible, and fold this up. Now this is the way that I do it. I know there are different ways that you can do this. The reason I'm doing this part of folding it and putting this tape here is the tape is to hold it in place, and the folding is so I don't have to cut so long. The strips are not so long, and trying to keep them straight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is line the edge up with one of the lines on my mat, on my cutting mat. So I have it lined up on the horizontal line, as well as I have it on the vertical line. Okay, so once I do that, I make sure the top and the bottom are even, everything is even, and then I use this other ruler as the guide. And so it's very difficult if you do not have some type of ruler or straight edge to cut this evenly. So you just open your rotary cutter and just get right on the edge there. And I'm cutting this one at a 1-inch mark. And I move that just a little bit. And you're just cutting little strips. That's all you're doing. And you move over and just cut another. And so you cut, you go through and you do that all the way through. So that's all of the blue I'm going to cut because I was just demonstrating there for you. Okay. Move that out of the way. So I'm going to continue with my yellow. So remember, you're going to put your tape, fold it, and put the tape on the other end. So I've cut most of this, and I just have about 4 more pieces to cut. Also, on the glue gun, I forgot to tell you, if you have a low temp glue gun, that works best. Okay, mine is not a low temp, so I turned it on earlier and I just turned it off so the glue wouldn't be too hot. So I'm just lining my ruler up. I'm making sure that this line is straight, making sure all my lines are straight. And even with that, this foam will probably not all be the same exact size. You'll see as we're putting it together, but it's okay. Make sure to line everything up and try to make your cut as evenly as possible. It's a little, I didn't bear down enough on that tape, so I had a little piece that was stuck. 2 more cuts. And 1 more. This is a little bit over 1 inch, so I want to make sure that I go ahead and cut that down. And I'm gonna use this straight edge because I know that's straight, and so I'm going to cut this edge off, the excess off where I've been cutting. So this side is going to be the 1/2 inch and this is the 1 inch that I will keep. And don't pull it apart, go ahead and cut it through. It's just where you have that tape, you have to bear down just a little bit harder. So this is a 1/2 inch, so I don't need this for this project, okay? But I'm going to save it for later. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and just untape everything because we don't need the tape anymore. That was just to hold it in place. And it's pretty easy. I just tore my tape there. I'm going to get that loose. Just take all these little pieces of tape off. So the first time I did that, I didn't tape it, and all of my pieces were just all over the place. I had 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and they're still not going to be exactly even, but that's okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use our glue gun, and we're going to put glue on the very edge, okay? And it's not a lot, so don't press your glue gun hard. You don't want a lot to come out. Just a very little will do. And then take another end and just put that together. So it's just end to end. And you can give it just a slight little wiggle. And remember, if you have a low temp gun. You want to use it. Wipe away that little excess glue, because you're going to have that. And you just continue with each end. So it's just end to end. And I just wiggle it just a tad and wipe away the little excess. Now normally I do try to get all my folds the same way, but it won't matter. It won't matter at all. And you see how this side, this one is a little bit bigger. That's okay. It's going to be hidden. That's what I was saying. They're not going to all be exact. Foam is squishy and it moves around on you. So you'll think you're cutting it exactly the same each time, and you may have some that are a little bit off. And then here's our last piece that we cut. I'm just trying to get a very little on there. This is where one of those precision tip glue guns would really come in handy. Okay. And we're going to wipe the excess off. If your glue gun is too hot, your foam pieces will not stick together. So that's why you don't want it really hot, and my glue gun gets really hot, so I just warmed it up and turned it off. I thought that was the last piece, but it wasn't. I think I had this one left over from when I was connecting earlier. So easy peasy. That's all you're doing. This is actually the longest part. It's just putting everything together, gluing all these ends together. And then here's the one I had started before I came on. I'm going to just take this little piece off. And we're just going to glue these two ends together. Now I've never measured to see if I'm using a full sheet or not. I can tell you that I got 11 cuts out of each piece of foam. So I'm using this yellow and then orange and white. And I already have the orange and white cut and glued together. And we're just taking that little excess piece off. Okay. I'm going to turn that on for just a second. Okay, so here we go. I'm just dropping that down to the floor. Getting these things out of the way so you can see. All right, here are my other two pieces, or two colors that I did. And, you know, we're making like a candy corn colored little foam lollipop. And so you can choose whatever color you want to be in the middle if you're using 3 pieces. Now, I will suggest the first time that you do this, you may only want to start with 2 different colors, okay? Just to practice. I mean, you know, so you can get your practice in and it won't be too difficult, because the more colors you have, the harder it is to curl or to get started anyways. Alright, so I'm going to put the white in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to have, I'm trying to think. Let me see. How is my candy corn over there? Let me see how the candy corn colors go before I commit to that. Let's see here. Okay, here's my little candy corn that I'm using, okay? And so I guess I'm going to change it up so it can kind of be in line with the candy corn. So I'll put the white in the middle and then the orange and the yellow, okay? Now you can also add some black, but I'm all out. I thought I was out of black, but I actually have black. But we're going to just stick with these three colors and hope it come out the way we like it. Okay, so what you're going to do is, first of all, you're going to stagger your ends, okay? And we're going to start with the white because that's going to be the middle. And I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. And we're going to fold this over. Not a big fold, just a little fold, okay? Just fold a little piece over, maybe about 1/4 of an inch, and hold it down. Let that glue dry. And it doesn't take long because number one, you're using a glue gun that's low temp, and number two, it's just not going to take that long. This glue has been drying pretty fast. I'm going to just add just a little bit right here. It's not really necessary, I don't think. We're going to add that there. And you will have a little seepage. And we're just going to wipe that away. Okay. Alright. Once that gets pretty dry, you're going to take your second color and you're going to go past where you folded the first color, okay? And you see that it's going to roll past there. So there's the first color. That's where it stops when I folded it over. So I'm going past that point. So I'm going to add some glue. And I do want one of my edges to line up, okay? So on this edge, it's lining up perfectly. So we're just going to wipe that little loose piece away. We're going to hold that and let it dry. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little glue on this end. I'm trying not to put too much glue at a time. This is going to be the top of our candy, by the way. Okay, so now we're going to take that third color and we're going to overlap it past the orange, okay? Overlap it a good bit. Can you see that? I'm overlapping that orange by a lot, probably about an inch or 1/2 inch or so. That's about 3/4 of an inch that I overlap the orange. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put some more glue down. Now we're not going to glue the whole thing. This is just to get us started. Just to get us started, and we want to make sure that that yellow is lined up with the rest, because remember, this is our top. This is the part that's going to be seen. we're just going to let that dry for just a second. All right. I'm going to turn my gun on for just a moment, my glue gun. All right, so here we go. So this is the fun part. Now that was the hardest part, getting it cut, glued together, and the start of it. So the rest, it's going to be pretty easy. The beginning is a little tough, but after you get past this part, it's easy as pie. Okay, so you're going to roll that part in. So let me show you again. You're going to take where we have all those fold overs, and you're going to roll it onto itself. Okay, and then I'm going to put that part down on my mat, and I've got to stretch this around. Hold on. See, this is the hardest part right here. And we're just gonna keep rolling this together. Make sure your foam pieces are touching the table, so you may have to just, tap it down. And in a second, I'm gonna pick it up to make sure that it's even on the side that's touching the table. Okay, so that was our start. So after you get that done, it's pretty easy. So you see that? So that's even, and just like we wanted. So every now and then you can add some glue. And if you add some glue, go ahead and add it to each piece. You don't have to do it on every layer, on every roll I should say, but do it for every layer, the white, orange, and the yellow. Just to hold it in place. And then I'm just smoothing it out, and then I just continue to roll, making sure that we're getting everything flat. On this side, things are not all even, and that's okay. We're using the board to make sure that the side that's seam will be flat. Okay? And every so often I pick it up just to make sure that it's flat, and I see I have an indentation here on the yellow, so I can just back that out. So that's why I check as I go, and then I make sure, it's one more row, I make sure that everything is pushed down. That was right where I glued it to. Okay, so we're just trying to pull that down. All right, so here we go. So we'll just keep going. And I'm just tightening that up. And so that's what makes it kind of difficult when you're using more than two. So I really suggest just starting with either one or two layers first and just seeing how you like it. The first time I did this, I didn't know to put it down on the cutting board, and I was just rolling it in my hand, and I'm like, this looks atrocious. This is a mess. Okay, and we're going to pick it up, make sure it's still even. It's still even. Can you see that? And you can make this as large as you want or as short as you want, or as large or as wide. Not short, but as wide as you want. I usually go for about 4 or 5 inches. I like mine kind of big, but it's just whatever you like. My hand slipped and I let loose, but that's okay. Just make sure those are down. Let me make sure it's turning out good. Okay, let me see how wide that is. That's a little bit over 4. So we're gonna stop here in just a second. Not hard at all. I'm gonna stop when I get to 5. That's probably it. Yep, right in there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to end the same way that we began by staggering the lengths. So I'm going to turn it over one more time just to make sure that everything is smooth and solid. So it is. It's not bumpy. Okay. So I'm going to cut that one off, and we're going to apply some glue. We're going to cut the second one off. We went past where I cut the white one. The white one is cut back here. So I'm cutting the orange one about an inch or so further up. And we're applying some glue. Be careful, don't burn yourself. And then here's a where we glued it together, so I'm just going to use that as my stopping point. So I'm going to cut where that was glued. And we're going to apply some glue. And there we go. And we're going to let that cool. Okay. And I'm just looking at the front to make sure everything stayed. And it did. Okay. So let's make this into like a candy that has the little wrapper parts on the end. So I have some yellow. I'm out of the orange and the white. So we'll use yellow. And let's get our ruler back out and cut ourselves, let's see here, I think, let's cut ourselves like a 2.5 inch piece. So I'm just going to cut this whole thing right here as soon as I find my rotary cutter. There we go. Make sure everything is lined up. We're just going to make one cut of that one. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to do 2.5 inches. So 1, 2.5. Let's line our lines up. Now this is optional. The rest is optional, but this way you'll have a good understanding of what to do. And we're going to make one more 2.5-inch piece. Hopefully that's large enough. I think it will be. Now, if you have any of those pretty scissors that give you the little cutout, you can use that. I should have brought those up here, but I don't have them up here. But you know what I'm talking about? They give it the wavy lines and things like that. I think they're pinking shears. So you can use that. So what we're going to do is to fold this in half, fold it the other way, and fold this down. Okay? You see that? So I'm going to do it again. We just made an accordion. So I just folded the sheet in half and took the edges, fold it down, and fold the other side down. And we're just going to add some glue. Let me put a glue stick in there. It shouldn't take too much to hold it. And we're going to add glue inside the other pieces that are going the other way. And I'm just going to hold this with a little clothespin so I can do the other one. Hopefully that'll work. Okay, I'm just going to set that aside for a minute and we're going to do the other one. Okay, so this is our other 2.5-inch square. Fold it in half.